Our top story this hour, Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will be visiting Central Asia for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers Meet. It will be taking place at Tajikistan's capital Dushanbe on 13th and 14th, that is today and tomorrow. A day after that, he will be representing India at the South Central Asia Connectivity Meet in Uzbekistan. The key agenda of the meeting will be Afghanistan. The foreign ministers meeting at Tajik's capital city is crucial, especially at a time when the United States is pulling out troops from Tajikistan bordering Afghanistan, and Taliban at the same time is making rapid territorial gains in the country. Hence, the SCO contact group on Afghanistan is expected to evolve a strategy for the future of Afghanistan. A joint statement will also be issued by the SCO contact group on Afghanistan. India and Pakistan are a part of this grouping. The crucial meeting will witness the presence of 8 member grouping nations including Russia, China, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Pakistan this year. This means that Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will be coming face-to-face with Pakistan's Shah Mahmood Qureshi. Remember, during the SCO National Security Chiefs meet last month, Indian National Advisor Ajit Doval had targeted the Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. He had proposed an action plan on the terrorist groups. On 14th and 15th of July, Uzbekistan will be holding the Connectivity Summit. India is expected to pitch for landlocked Central Asia's connectivity with the Indian Ocean region via Iran and the Chabahar port and international north-south transport corridor. Uzbekistan is now eyeing to connect with India via the Chabahar port and is part of the trilateral with Iran and India. It wants to push a smoother multimodal connectivity link between South Asia and Central Asia. And WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal is joining us live for more on this story. Siddhant, thank you for joining us. External Affairs Minister is on a 2-nation tour of Central Asia, and he will be visiting Central Asia for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers Meet, like I mentioned. And a day after, like I mentioned earlier, he will be representing India at the South Central Asia Connectivity Meet in Uzbekistan. Now, we have discussed that the key agenda would be Afghanistan. Could you give us a lowdown of the various areas of discussions here?
Well, it will be Mission Central Asia this week for the Indian External Affairs Minister. Last week, of course, he was in Tehran and Moscow. But the shadow of increased violence in Afghanistan is bound to dominate, whether it is at the Connectivity Summit in Uzbekistan or whether it is at the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Dushanbe. In fact, he is shortly expected to reach the Tajik capital, Dushanbe. And there will be a joint call by the foreign ministers of the SCO countries with the president of Tajikistan. Tajikistan, of course, is the host of SCO, and in September month will hold the heads of these countries meeting. But nonetheless, when it comes to violence in Afghanistan, this is something that has been a cause of concern. In fact, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan both border Afghanistan, and we know that just recently the Afghan soldiers had crossed into Tajikistan when violence increased in northern Afghanistan. But nonetheless, this will be also a crucial occasion for an important bilateral. And this bilateral will be between the Indian External Affairs Minister and the Afghan Foreign Minister. And this is one of the first bilaterals, in-person bilateral between both sides in many months, and will be an occasion to talk about the situation, how India can support the Afghan government amid the crisis.
Right, Siddhant, I was just going to come on that. The SCO contact group on Afghanistan is expected to evolve a strategy on the future of Afghanistan. And India and Pakistan are part of this grouping. That also means that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Pakistan's Shah Mahmood Qureshi will come face-to-face. What can we expect on that front?
Well, this week will provide not one but 2 occasions where both the ministers will be face-to-face. First, of course, in Dushanbe, then, of course, in Uzbek capital Tashkent. But rest assured, there will be no bilateral, there will be no informal meeting or a pull aside, as has happened 2 times earlier this year. We know that it was Dushanbe, the first place where the Heart of Asia meeting happened. Both ministers were face-to-face, but no meeting happened. Then, of course, there was a bilateral visit to UAE. But we know the situation as of now, particularly the issue of cross-border terrorism from Pakistan, that is not only concerning to India but also to Afghanistan. In fact, the Afghan envoy spoke to WION yesterday and said that without external support to Taliban and the support by almost 20 terror groups, it would have not been possible that Taliban could exist. So Pakistan remains a worry for the region, the support to terror group, and unless Pakistan takes strong action, it is highly unlikely that India will have any kind of talks with Pakistan.
Right, Siddhant. And also talking about the Uzbekistan holding the Connectivity Summit, it is now eyeing to connect with India via the Chabahar port and is part of the trilateral with Iran and India. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Connectivity Summit is an occasion for the regional countries to connect and make sure that Central Asia can come to the warm waters of the Indian Ocean. We know that the Indian side and the Uzbek side had a virtual summit last year in December of last year, where the Indian Prime Minister was present. And then, of course, this trilateral came into existence. Chabahar remains the pivotal point or a pivotal port for the Indian side to connect to Central Asia. India has been pitching forward for it. We know that more and more Central Asian countries are keen to be part of the Chabahar port project. India, of course, has sent cranes to Chabahar earlier this year, and focus is that how Chabahar can provide a cheaper route. In fact, Chabahar will also be part of the North-South Transport Corridor, international transport corridor that connects Mumbai with Moscow and provides a cheaper route for Indian goods to go to Europe and European goods to come to India. And that is why India will be, of course, naturally focused on this at the Connectivity Summit. The Uzbek foreign minister was in New Delhi. He was in Islamabad earlier this year and had invited both Indian Prime Minister, the Pakistani Prime Minister. But because of the COVID pandemic, the foreign ministers are representing both the countries. In fact, what is interesting is that the US Special Envoy on Afghanistan, Zalmay Khalilzad, will also be present in the Uzbek capital. And nonetheless, Afghanistan again will be the focus area.
Right, Siddhant. Thank you so much for joining us with all the updates on that. We will, of course, continue to track this closely. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.